The metallic ping echoed across the dusty Tunisian landscape. That sound would haunt German soldiers for years to come. It meant another 8 rounds had been fired in rapid succession. Another enemy clip had emptied. Another American rifleman was reloading. What happened next changed everything German infantry thought they knew about warfare. The mathematical reality was brutal, simple, undeniable. While one German soldier worked his bolt-action rifle, cycling through perhaps 3 carefully aimed shots, his American opponent had already fired 8 rounds and started on his second clip. This wasn't the warfare German military doctrine had prepared for. This wasn't the methodical, disciplined combat their training emphasized. This was something entirely different. American industrial foresight had created a weapon that transformed individual soldiers into forces of overwhelming firepower. The M1 Garand represented more than engineering excellence. It embodied a completely different philosophy of infantry combat. Every American rifleman carried the equivalent firepower of multiple bolt-action soldiers. The implications terrified German commanders who first encountered this reality in North African combat operations. Obergefreiter Wilhelm Schmidt learned this lesson on November 8, 1942. His Karabiner 98K felt suddenly inadequate in his hands. The familiar rhythm of bolt-action fire seemed painfully slow. Load, aim, fire, work the bolt, eject the casing, chamber the next round, acquire target, fire again. By the time he completed this sequence twice, incoming fire had already shredded his position. The Americans advancing across that rocky terrain moved with confidence their weapons justified. Each soldier knew he could deliver rapid, accurate fire without pause. No complex manual cycling, no interruption in sight picture. Just squeeze the trigger 8 times as quickly as accuracy allowed. German military intelligence had catastrophically underestimated American capabilities. Reports dismissed the M1 Garand as heavy, complicated, unreliable. Analysts concluded that industrial abundance couldn't compensate for tactical inexperience. Those assessments crumbled under the reality of combat. American forces had been refining their M1 tactics since December 8, 1941. Philippine defenders used their Garands so effectively that Japanese troops reported facing machine gun positions where only individual riflemen existed. General MacArthur praised the rifle's performance in brutal jungle conditions. Dust, mud, humidity, constant combat. The M1 functioned flawlessly. German soldiers expected to face inexperienced troops with inferior equipment. Instead, they encountered veterans armed with weapons that fundamentally changed infantry combat mathematics. The technical specifications told part of the story. Gas-operated semi-automatic action, 8-round en-bloc clip. 30-06 cartridge delivering substantial energy at extended ranges. 4-minute of angle accuracy in production rifles. Many performed significantly better. But specifications couldn't capture the psychological impact. German infantry doctrine emphasized careful, aimed fire from prepared positions. Each round mattered. Conservation of ammunition was critical. Discipline and marksmanship would overcome American numerical advantages. This thinking dissolved under sustained semi-automatic fire. German soldiers found themselves pinned down by individual American riflemen. Machine gun crews faced concentrated fire from multiple M1s simultaneously. Traditional covering fire tactics failed because American return fire was too heavy, too sustained, too accurate. The mathematics were unforgiving. In any 2-minute engagement, a skilled German soldier might fire 30 aimed rounds from his Kar 98K. His American opponent could deliver 80 rounds in the same period. More critically, the American never broke his sight picture between shots. gas operations cycled the action automatically. Spent casings ejected. Fresh rounds chambered. The rifle remained ready to fire within fractions of seconds. Accuracy didn't suffer despite rapid fire rates. Testing at Springfield Armory demonstrated remarkable precision. Production rifles consistently grouped within 4 inches at 100 yards. Many achieved significantly tighter patterns. General Patton's assessment proved accurate. The M1 was indeed the greatest battle implement ever devised. American production capacity turned this individual advantage into overwhelming force multiplication. From 1937 through 1945, approximately 5.4 million M1 rifles rolled off production lines. Springfield Armory manufactured over 3.5 million units. Winchester produced more than 500,000 additional rifles. By D-Day in June 1944, virtually every American rifleman carried an M1 Garand. This represented unprecedented achievement in military logistics. An entire force, numbering in millions, equipped with semi-automatic rifles, while enemies still relied on bolt-action weapons. The technical evolution began decades before combat proved its worth. John Cantius Garand devoted nearly 20 years perfecting his design. Born in Quebec, immigrated to America, joined Springfield Armory in 1919. His dedication to excellence created a weapon that served 3 generations of American soldiers. Early prototypes explored different operating systems. Various calibers were tested. The Army initially favored .276 caliber for superior ballistics. General MacArthur insisted on retaining .30-06 to maintain ammunition compatibility with existing machine guns. This decision, made in 1932, delayed adoption but proved strategically sound. Garand refined his design throughout the early 1930s. Extensive testing identified problems. Solutions were implemented. The gas system evolved from complex gas trap mechanisms to simpler, more reliable gas port operation. Trigger mechanisms were perfected. Stock ergonomics improved. Official adoption came January 9, 1936. Initial production moved slowly. Only thousands of rifles in 1937 and 1938. Production accelerated as war approached. 600 rifles per day by January 1941. Peak wartime production reached incredible levels. The rifle's reliability became legendary among troops who carried it. North African dust couldn't stop it. Italian mud didn't jam it. Northern European cold didn't affect function. Korean winter conditions proved no obstacle. Minimal maintenance kept it operational. Field stripping required no tools. Operating rod and bolt removed in minutes. Cleaning was simple. Reassembly was quick. German observers noted this reliability with frustration and grudging respect. Combat experience validated design decisions. The unblock clip system worked flawlessly despite initial concerns. The distinctive ping of ejecting clips became inaudible in battle noise. Veterans universally reported enemy forces couldn't hear it beyond a few yards. German defensive doctrine crumbled against distributed M1 firepower. Machine guns provided suppressive fire in German tactics. Riflemen engaged with careful aimed shots. MG-34 and MG-42 machine guns were excellent weapons, but required crews, ammunition bearers, vulnerable positions. M1 Garands changed this calculus completely. American squads generated firepower approaching German machine gun teams. This firepower was distributed across entire squads. Suppressing Americans required suppressing 8 or 9 individually armed soldiers. Italian campaign fighting from September 1943 onward provided extensive combat experience. Salerno landings through brutal advances toward Rome. German infantry consistently found themselves outgunned by American riflemen. Superior positions couldn't compensate for firepower disadvantages. March 1944 Reports from captured German units noted consistent patterns. Encounters with American infantry typically resulted in Germans pinned down by rifle fire. Reports recommended increased machine gun allocation to compensate for American advantages. German attempts at semi-automatic rifles produced mixed results. The Gewehr 41 series proved deeply flawed. Complex gas trap systems fouled easily. Manufacturing was complicated. Maintenance was difficult. Production remained extremely limited. Studying captured Soviet SVT-40 rifles taught German designers valuable lessons. Gas port systems they had previously rejected actually worked. The Gewehr 43 incorporated simpler, more reliable mechanisms, detachable 10-round magazines, lighter weight, better reliability. Production totaled approximately 400,000 rifles by war's end. About 50,000 received telescopic sights for designated marksmen. The G-43 was capable when soldiers received them. However, it arrived too late in insufficient numbers. For every 50 Kar-98K rifles produced, only one G-43 was manufactured. Most German infantry continued carrying bolt-action weapons until surrender. Even soldiers who received G-43s found them inferior to M1 Garands in field conditions. The fundamental problem was timing. Germany entered war without effective semi-automatic infantry rifles. They never caught up despite engineering efforts. American foresight provided decisive advantages. M1 Garands changed American infantry tactics completely. Training emphasized rapid target acquisition. Continuous fire became standard practice. Every rifleman could deliver substantial accurate fire quickly. Squad tactics assumed overwhelming firepower from individual soldiers. Fire and maneuver techniques proved devastatingly effective. Half the squad provided covering fire while others advanced. M1 volume of fire made these tactics overwhelmingly successful against traditional bolt-action defenses. Omaha Beach demonstrated M1 effectiveness against fortified positions. The 352nd Infantry Division occupied excellent defensive terrain. Reinforced concrete emplacements, interlocking machine gun positions, nearly impregnable fortifications with outstanding fields of fire. When Americans reached the bluffs, their return fire was overwhelming. Every soldier had semi-automatic capability. Machine gun crews faced dozens of rifles simultaneously. German defenders couldn't maintain aimed fire because incoming rounds were too numerous. Normandy hedgerow fighting proved M1 superiority in close combat. Ranges under 100 yards, confined spaces, traditional German covering fire tactics failed completely. M1 fire was too heavy, too sustained. German troops couldn't raise their heads to return effective fire. Statistical analysis after the war revealed consistent patterns. American infantry squads inflicted casualties at rates significantly higher than their numbers suggested. While many factors contributed, including artillery and air superiority, consistent advantages in infantry firefights pointed clearly to M1 effectiveness. American infantrymen could expect winning engagements even when outnumbered. Reasonable cover and adequate ammunition provided significant advantages. The rifle each soldier carried made measurable differences in combat outcomes. Germany's solution came too late. The Sturmgewehr 44 represented revolutionary thinking. Intermediate cartridge, selective fire capability, 30-round magazines, true assault rifle characteristics. Approximately 425,000 were produced, mostly in 1944 and 1945. Like the G-43, the StG-44 arrived too late in insufficient numbers. Most German infantry never saw one. Those who did often lacked adequate ammunition as industrial capacity crumbled under Allied bombing. The psychological impact on German soldiers was profound. M1 Garands represented technological superiority, that contradicted propaganda about American capabilities. German soldiers had been conditioned to believe in Germanic technological and tactical superiority. When properly equipped, well-trained German infantrymen found themselves unable to win firefights against individual American riflemen. The myth of superiority collapsed. This had consequences far beyond tactical considerations. Post-war studies consistently showed American infantry inflicting disproportionate casualties in firefights. Superior equipment in skilled hands made profound differences in battle outcomes. German casualties from rifle fire remained significant throughout the conflict. The M1's legacy extends far beyond World War II into modern firearms development. The principle it demonstrated became foundational to post-war weapon development. Infantry benefit from self-loading rifles that increase fire rates without sacrificing accuracy. Every modern military rifle owes conceptual debt to M1 innovations, from AK-47s to M16s to current assault rifles. The M1 proved semi-automatic operation wasn't just feasible for military rifles, but absolutely essential for modern infantry combat. German military theorists studying post-war defeats consistently identified firepower disparity as critical. Former General Hasso von Manteuffel commanded 5th Panzer Army during the Battle of the Bulge. His memoirs noted American infantry firepower exceeded German capabilities even when Germans held defensive advantages. The human cost appeared clearly in casualty statistics. While many factors affected loss rates, studies of small unit actions showed consistent patterns. American infantry inflicted disproportionate casualties in firefights. The rifle each soldier carried made measurable differences. In final analysis, M1 impact extended far beyond technical specifications. It represented American industrial foresight, engineering excellence, commitment to providing superior equipment. While Germany struggled with complex programs that never reached meaningful production, America equipped its entire military with proven, reliable semi-automatic rifles. This advantage multiplied across millions of soldiers and thousands of engagements. It contributed materially to Allied victory in both European and Pacific theaters. The distinctive sound of M1 fire became synonymous with Allied success. German soldiers learned to recognize and respect that metallic ping. It meant facing opponents who could deliver overwhelming firepower quickly and accurately. The M1 provided clear, measurable advantages German infantry couldn't effectively counter. Those advantages made differences in countless engagements. They saved American lives. They helped bring the war to swifter conclusions than might otherwise have occurred. The rifle served American forces through World War II, Korea, and early Vietnam years. Official replacement didn't come until 1957 with M14 adoption. First deliveries began in 1959. Full transition took until 1961. Even then, M1 Garands remained with Reserve and National Guard units through the 1970s. The M1 stands as testament to properly designed military equipment. It proved that investing in soldier capabilities pays dividends in combat effectiveness and mission success. Its influence on subsequent rifle design continues today. For German infantry who faced it in combat, the M1 Garand represented an unpleasant lesson in technological reality. Superior equipment matters profoundly in determining battle outcomes. Excellence within outdated weapon systems produces inferior results against technologically advanced opponents. The story of German encounters with M1-equipped Americans represents a moment when technological advantage met traditional military excellence. It demonstrated that superior technology, properly applied, overcomes even excellent training and tactical doctrine when that doctrine relies on inferior equipment. From Philippines to North Africa, Sicily to Normandy, hedgerows to Rhine crossings, The M1 Garand served faithfully and effectively. It earned its reputation as one of the finest military rifles ever designed. Patton's praise was completely justified. German soldiers learned through hard battlefield experience that American infantry firepower represented fundamental tactical challenges their bolt-action rifles couldn't overcome. The M1 demonstrated that warfare had entered a new era completely. The days of massed infantry armed with bolt-action rifles were over. Semi-automatic rifles represented the future. The M1 Garand made this clear to militaries worldwide. German infantry, brave and well-trained as they were, fought with equipment that disadvantaged them in the most fundamental infantry task: shooting the enemy before the enemy shoots you. The mathematics remained constant throughout the war. In time required for German soldiers to fire 3 carefully aimed shots, Americans with M1 Garands could fire 8 rounds. When both sides were equally trained and skilled, Americans hit 2 to 3 times as many targets. In squad-level engagements, this difference became overwhelming. M1 Garands gave American infantry firepower superiority even when German forces outnumbered them in actual soldiers. This represented force multiplication through superior individual weapons. The lesson resonates through modern military thinking. Properly equipped individual soldiers with superior personal weapons can overcome numerical disadvantages through technological advantages. The M1 Garand proved this principle decisively across multiple theaters of operations. Its impact on World War II was measured not just in technical specifications, but in lives saved, battles won, and wars shortened. The rifle gave American infantry confidence their weapons justified. They could advance knowing they possessed firepower advantages over any opponents they might face. That confidence, backed by superior equipment, made profound differences in combat outcomes. The M1 Garand was indeed the greatest battle implement ever devised. Its superiority over German bolt-action rifles was demonstrated conclusively on battlefields from 1941 through 1945.